This is a millionaire's yacht, and this is a billionaire's yacht. A millionaire takes vacations here, but a billionaire goes here. Now I'm going to show you all their differences from the events they attend to the food they eat and everything else in between. Starting with what they do for fun, because millionaires and billionaires have personal projects and hobbies like the rest of us. Obviously there's a big difference in what those can be. Some millionaires collect things, like Eminem has spent millions on comic books and has one of the rarest collections in the world. Other millionaires love working on cars, like Robert Downey Jr. buys classic cars, cleans them up, and makes them more energy efficient. And sometimes, millionaires will do something extreme, like Drake bought a broken down art-style amusement park and got it restored so it could open again. I can at least understand why millionaires would have these hobbies, but billionaires be doing some of the wildest imaginable. Like after Elon Musk made enough money to retire his entire bloodline, he decided it would be fun to try to go to Mars. Jeff Bezos, on the other hand, wanted to make a big clock, like a really big one, like a 500-foot tall one, and he also wants it to last forever. Bill Gates wanted to do something that was more helpful though, so he invested $200 million into a machine that could turn poop into water for poor people in Africa. The Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman wants to build a $500 billion reflective wall in the middle of the desert for people to live in. Needless to say, billionaires like to spend absurd amounts of money on the most ridiculous ideas. But the rich and famous are also willing to spend racks to see the craziest views in the world. For vacations, millionaires like anchoring in Toyama Bay to experience the glowing beaches caused by bioluminescent organisms. They also travel to the Alley of Baobabs in Madagascar just to see the trees that are over 2,800 years old. Since they're over 100 feet tall, it really makes you feel like you're on another planet. But one of the most surreal experiences for millionaires is the Salar de Uyuni, salt flat in Bolivia, to create some pretty crazy optical illusions. And all the alien lovers like to go to Egypt to see some stuff we still don't understand. For more natural beauty, they might go to the lavender fields while touring France. But the millionaires just looking to party will end up in Ibiza in Spain. There's way more than just clubs and hookers there too though. One of the coolest places millionaires go is the Millionaire monasteries. And if you're wondering how they built them, in order to bring the materials up there, they need the sketchiest elevator known to man. Billionaires will still travel to some of these places, but they tend to prefer some more remote locations, like space. Jeff Bezos' company Blue Origin offers space rides for a couple million to those who want views most of the world will never see. But back on Earth, billionaires sometimes go to islands in the Maldives where they have an entire island to themselves, with tons of activities and shows. Private chefs make anything you could want. Butlers tend to your every need, and it'll set you back $27,000 per night. Billionaires also have a favorite hideout called Marina di Portofino in Italy. What once was just a small fishing village is now a retreat for the world's wealthiest. It's so exclusive that it only has one road in and out of the town with limited parking. But it's not for supercars, it's for yachts. Yeah, the only way to get into this town is via yacht. I guess to keep the yachtless peasants away. They aren't just traveling to warm places though, they'll also go on high-class expeditions to Antarctica. While you and me can go visit Antarctica on a $1,000 cruise, billionaires will spend more than $2 million on a 16-day trip to the most remote and incredible parts of Antarctica, using private planes, helicopters, and yachts. They get to see massive penguin colonies, glaciers, and can even visit the literal South Pole. Billionaires will also do a complete world tour, where they take a 26-day trip on a private jet to all the best spots in the world. They can see historic sites like Machu Picchu, the Great Wall of China, and so much more, all while staying in 5-star resorts with fine dining. If they decide to bring some friends, the trip would cost a billionaire more than $8 million. And if you think the vacations they can afford are crazy, just wait until you hear the exclusive events rich people go to. And some literally shape how the world works. But millionaires go to more well-known events that us normies dream of going to, like front row seats at the Super Bowl so they can see massive dudes getting decked right in front of them. Or they might go courtside to the NBA Finals so they can see for themselves how bad LeBron's hairline is. They get to dap up the players, chirp the refs, or even get a haircut. But only some millionaires are able to attend events like the Met Gala, since you have to be a celebrity. If you're a billionaire though, you can go wherever the f you want. Because even though the tickets at the Met Gala only cost $50K, they likely won't let millionaires come unless they're famous. But there's just no way they're going to turn down a billionaire who's willing to pay absurd amounts of money to attend. There are even more exclusive events that billionaires go to, like the Concorso d'Eleganza Villa d'Este. It's the most famous car show in the world that takes place in Italy's Lake Como. They display 50 of the greatest cars of the year, which ranges anywhere from supercars to classic vintage cars. And for the billionaires that own the sports teams, they don't just get to sit courtside like the millionaires. They can get shots up with the team in warm-ups and celebrate in the locker room when they win. One of the more disturbing events though talks about a new world order. You may have already heard of the World Economic Forum. There is another meeting that only white billionaires can attend. It's called the Bilderberg meeting. About 150 white elites from North America and Europe gather for this meeting every year, where they talk about politics, finance, education, and the media. They assure us that they're not trying to achieve world domination, but a leader in this meeting has literally gone on record saying they want a one-world government. But after they talk about that and take their private jets back home, they have to choose what car to pick them up from the airport. The most popular car for millionaires is the Mercedes E-Class. When they're whipping to work, they can enjoy the leather seats that massage their back. And when it's cold, they can just say,
Hey Mercedes,
How can I help?
turn on the seat heating.
I'm switching on the seat heating.
this costs around $70,000. That's just a millionaire's everyday car. When they try to flex, they bring out the Lamborghini Huracan. This is the most popular Lamborghini and supercar among millionaires. With its V10 engine, it can hit 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, and has a top speed of 192 miles an hour. I mean, there's a reason why gold digger pranks use Lambos. These cars are sick. It costs $250,000, which still ain't nothing compared to what billionaires drive. A billionaire's favorite supercar is the Bugatti, but the craziest version is the La Voiture Noire. This masterpiece was made for the 110th anniversary of Bugatti, and it can hit 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds, topping out at 248 miles an hour. This entire car is crafted by hand, but there's only one in existence. Whoever the buyer is was able to add his own touch. 6 exhaust pipes. Some think Ronaldo bought it because of that modification, and if he did, it would have cost him $19 million. But Bugattis aren't even the most common or expensive cars billionaires buy. That award goes to Rolls-Royce, and the most expensive version is called the Boat Tail, with a vintage but modern look. This thing is so expensive mostly because of its meticulous design and style. It's made to feel like you're driving a literal yacht floating on water, from its smoothness on the road and feel the front seat. It's also got a picnic feature, completely set with plates and everything else you need, so you can easily park it at a nice view and relax. But if it starts raining on your picnic, don't worry, it even comes with a goddamn umbrella. This Royce has a compartment for champagne, so you can get lit before driving home. Because we all know billionaires ain't getting DUIs. There's only 3 of the boat tails in existence, making them $28 million each. For that price, they don't even look that crazy, especially compared to the Mercedes Vision Avatar. This car's wheels can make it literally drive sideways, and it has scales on the back that move, making this thing look alive. It doesn't even have a steering wheel or gas pedals. It only uses this joystick to steer, which is a little sketchy. It's based on history. Joysticks don't seem the best thing to use for vehicles. Regardless, this car doesn't even have a price tag, so Mercedes declined to comment. You can only imagine what it's worth. Just know it took 200 Mercedes engineers to make it. Billionaires love buying cars like that because they aren't even released yet. But that isn't the only unreleased car. Like this BMW iVision D, literally changes colors at the touch of a button, making the craziest wrap on a car in existence. And it turns out BMW makes a lot of unreleased cars, because they also made this crazy looking one where the headlights literally blink. But some billionaires like to have a gold collection of supercars, like the Saudi prince, who has gold Bugattis, gold Lambos, gold Rolls-Royce Phantoms. You get the idea. The elite just aren't buying gold cars though. They're literally shitting out gold because of all the food they eat. But starting with the millionaires, they average $100 to $300 per meal, eating everything from steak, lobster, prime rib, caviar. They also put truffles, a type of fungus, on almost everything for some reason, usually with their dinner or lunch. They'll pair an expensive fine wine from Italy or France. Millionaires get all this at a nice 4 to 5 star restaurant that might feature some live music or a great view. But the billionaires always gotta go crazy with it. Most of them have famous private chefs that make tailored meals to their preferences that no one has ever made before. But when they eat out, they dine at Michelin-starred restaurants where they eat the finest cuisine prepared by world-renowned chefs. They like to add another element to the dining experience too, which is the presentation. You and I might go to Benihana to see an onion volcano. Billionaires would go to places like Sublimotion in Spain at $2,500 per person. World-famous chefs and award-winning musicians take them on a journey through different times, all using VR headsets to complete a 20-course meal. This straight up looks like something out of a Black Mirror episode. But at other restaurants, they have the opportunity to cover their food in gold for thousands of dollars. And yeah, gold doesn't digest in the body, so they literally just shit out gold a day later. But when it comes to fashion, ironically, millionaires like their drip more than billionaires do. A lot of millionaires have their closet decked out in designer brands like Louis, Gucci, and Fendi. These clothes are thousands of dollars each, and lets the public know that they're rich. On top of that, they'll have limited edition shoes like these, which can be thousands of dollars too. What they might drop the most on is watches, since they don't lose value, unless they decide to ice them out like rappers. The most common watch for millionaires is the Rolex, which can range from 5K to 75K. Do you think a billionaire would wear any of those broke pieces of shit though? Hell no. Just like millionaires, billionaires spend the most on watches. Some are so expensive, they're worth more than mega mansions. Like this Brigitte Drawn Complication Marie Antoinette, which was commissioned by the French Queen and took 44 years to make. Even though it was made in the 1700s, it has functions like a complete calendar, thermometer, and a power reserve indicator. This classic, worth a ridiculous 30 million. Can you believe this Patek Philippe is worth more? It's because it has 20 secret features, making it worth 31 mil. The most expensive in the world. This is trippy watch called the Graf Diamonds Hallucination. It's made out of 110 of the best and most beautiful looking jewels in the world, making it worth 55 million. Billionaires are trying to smell like billionaires too, so they might cop a bottle of cologne like Chamuk by Nabil. This crystal bottle is covered in 18 karat gold, with more than 3,571 precious stones. Cologne itself contains a mix of high quality scents that I don't even know how to pronounce, like ylang ylang and patchouli. It took 3 years for them just to figure out the perfect smell. So this little bottle sets back a billionaire $1.29 million. Rich people don't just get physical items though. They also get special privileges, because the wealthy don't travel like the rest of us normies. It's got golden passports. Let's say you fly to Europe and love it so much you want to stay there for 6 months. Well, you can't, because you'll get kicked out after 90 days. But millionaires can get around this by buying a property or investing in a public service, which can cost around $100,000 depending on the country. This gives them what's known as the golden passport, which allows them to stay as long as they want without actually having to live there. They also get special priority when boarding planes. Have you ever had an overbooked flight where they have to kick someone off? Well, a millionaire doesn't have to worry about that. They're randomly chosen to be kicked. They can just tell the staff to look up their frequent flyer number, and the staff will apologize and choose someone else. Their first class tickets ain't cheap either, but they quickly make that money back with their investments. Like if they think a new company is going to be huge, they can invest in it early. But if you wanted to invest in it early, sorry, you're out of luck. You'll have to wait until it's a public company. That's a great example of how the richer you are, the easier it is to make more money. But billionaires are on a whole new level. They have the money to donate large amounts of money to politicians that influence the laws in their favor. This is called lobbying, and it's completely legal. Whether it's tax laws, real estate laws, or business laws, they often donate to keep regulation away, giving them advantages that only apply to big business owners. Millionaires don't really care that billionaires do that, because it usually helps them too. But when it comes to yachts, they really get pissed off. Just how big your yacht is essentially a direct measurement of how big your bank account is. Millionaires' yachts are around 80 feet long and have multiple decks for either sunbathing, dining, or entertainment. They have a couple luxurious bedrooms, so they can bring their family or friends on trips, and they're bound to be getting drunk and partying. So of course, they have a professional crew to manage the boat for them, so they can enjoy the yacht in the ocean. But if millionaires don't want to get in the ocean, some even have their own pool. They also got toys like water skis or jet skis. But just wait until you hear what toys the billionaires got. Billionaire yachts are hundreds of feet long, and usually can't even come close to shore. They need to have a goddamn helicopter pad just to get on the boat. Some even have a drive-in garage, so they can have their smaller yacht inside the bigger yacht. It literally looks like a boat giving birth. They hold their water toys in there too, like mini submarines and amphibious airplanes. To be honest, I don't even know if I'd get in either of those. But depending on the billionaire's hobbies, some have basketball courts to get some shots up. To top one of these yachts, it'll cost you anywhere from 80 million to hundreds of millions of dollars. Is drugs. Everyone's got a vice, no matter who you are. For some, it might be video games or binging TV shows. But most rich people either drink, smoke, or a combination of all of them. Give them a little escape from reality. They can afford some pretty crazy stuff. Billionaires' most common drug of choice is alcohol, like for most average people. Except they aren't drinking Four Locos and Jameson. They're either sipping on some $1,000 wine from the finest grapes of Italy, or Whistle Pig Boss hog liquor. That's a weird ass name. Most billionaires, though, want to buy drugs that only they can afford, because they want to feel special. Like if they're ever popping some champagne, probably open a bottle of Henry IV. The alcohol in here is over 100 years old, and the bottle itself is a work of art. All the gold is 24 carats, and the entire sterling silver bottle is covered in over 7,000 diamonds, making just one bottle 1.9 million. That's like drinking a goddamn Bugatti. That's not even close to the most expensive alcohol, which is called Amalfi Limoncello Supreme. There's only 2 bottles known to exist, each with 3 13-carat diamonds on the neck of the bottle, along with a massive 18.5-carat diamond. And the price for just one of these bottles, 44 million! The people making this are practically robbing billionaires. When it comes to gambling though, billionaires know they're getting robbed. The house always wins, but they don't care, because they have so much money they can't lose it all. But one billionaire ended up getting so addicted that he went broke. This guy named Terrence sold his company and decided to start gambling in Vegas. He quickly went from gambling thousands to gambling millions, and he became known as Vegas' biggest high roller. But eventually, his favorite casino banned him from playing because they could tell he's getting out of control with it. Seems like they were kind of looking out for him, but it didn't do him any good because he just went to a different casino that was willing to take his money, Caesar's Palace. And Caesars let him drink endlessly, smoke weed, store coke, so that he would gamble crazy amounts, until inevitably, he lost everything. I mean, this dude literally lost $200 million in 1 year alone. Casinos really are evil, man. But when it comes to flying, though, there's a huge difference. Even though some millionaires can afford private jets, most can't. But the first class seats still come with some pretty sick perks. Like you can get served anything you want instantly. There's more room, comfier seats, but it actually isn't that worth it for short flights. First class on long flights is a whole different story. Probably the most important feature is that you get a comfy bed, so you can lie down and sleep on long flights. Not to mention the food is better, you get privacy, and sometimes you even get your own shower. Millionaires that do have planes often have similar features, except they get a smaller plane all to themselves. But one of the best parts of owning your own plane is that you can skip security at the airport and drive straight up to the plane. But billionaires' planes like the G650, they're like flying houses. They got nice recliner seats, dining rooms, couches, TV rooms, separate bedrooms, and of course they need a gourmet kitchen on board, so they can still eat 5-star meals. The other main difference is that billionaires can take much longer flights with their jets, and since they're so big, turbulence isn't as noticeable. Billionaires also tend to stylize their private jets more, like adding gold wherever they can, and making sick paint jobs on the outside. But sometimes they're a little goofy. One thing they'll never joke around about though, is their health. Both millionaires and billionaires spend a lot, as most of them want to live forever. The treatments available currently differ greatly between millionaires and billionaires. Millionaires mostly spend money on personalized health and diet programs. They also take loads of supplements to achieve optimal performance. Doctors monitor everything. Obviously, millionaires take it pretty seriously. Meanwhile, I'm over here eating Chick-fil-A and haven't seen a doctor in years. I should probably start throwing in a salad every once in a while. Millionaires are still doing more than just that. $80,000. They can preserve their brain at a company called Alcor in Arizona. They basically freeze it with liquid nitrogen, in hopes that in the future they can put it in some sort of robot. For $200,000 though, they'll preserve your entire body. So millionaires spend what they can, millions. Billionaires though, I'm sure you could guess, are spending billions. What they're doing is borderline illegal. Jeff Bezos seems the most obsessed with it. He spent billions starting a company called Altos, aimed to cure diseases that drive us to the grave. They assembled a dream team of scientists and have already had huge success with their experiments on mice, hoping to use it on humans in the near future. They've been able to reverse the age of cells by 25 years in their experiments by literally reprogramming the adult cells into young cells. Just reprogramming real life now? Life seems more like a simulation every day. But if they successfully do this on humans, there's a lot of questions being asked. Gene editing in many areas is illegal, but if they figure out how to reverse their own age, you think billionaires are just not gonna do it? It's gonna create an elite god-tier class in society of people who don't die and watch the rest of us get old? It's also a private company, so if they're able to cure diseases, who's going to have the access to that? The good side of all this is that the billionaires are funding the research that governments are not willing to fund. So it's better that a cure for things like cancer is being researched, instead of not being researched at all. Rich people love to spend money on their health, but I think the favorite thing for them to spend their money on is their mansions. But like always, there's levels to this shit. And the millionaire mansions come with a lot more than just extra space. Some might have basketball courts or bowling alleys, and most of them have an outdoor pool. Since watching movies is America's favorite pastime, you know almost all of them have some sort of home movie theater. Also, basically every single mansion has a wine cellar with some very expensive bottles. But if I had a mansion, I think one requirement I'd have is a heated driveway. Shoveling all that snow. Some of these billionaire mansions, though, have the most unnecessary features. Like Jeff Bezos wanted to have a 1,000-year-old lava field in his backyard. George Lucas has a giant statue of Yoda in his mansion. Mukesh Ambani built a 27-story mansion, and the first 6 floors are just to hold all of his supercars. Bill Gates has one of the most futuristic houses ever built with an entire room dedicated to trampolines. Donald Trump has secret underground tunnels and 3 different bomb shelters to survive nukes. Some billionaires want slides in their house with an entire water park in the backyard. And other billionaires like Vlad Dornan want their house to look like it's straight out of Star Wars. I mean, I don't think I'd buy a house that futuristic, but I guess it's popular for billionaires. Some prefer an apartment over a house, like this $63 million penthouse. And all those concept homes is probably the craziest one yet. It's supposed to cost $170 million. It looks like something straight out of a dream. It's not just mansions that differ though. Millionaires and billionaires have different types of friends too. Millionaires usually hang out with other millionaires, with the exception of friends they made on random occasions. Friends that are not millionaires are met through chance, and they have to become friends before they even know they're millionaires. Friends that are millionaires also have the aspiration to make more money together, but billionaires don't need more money. They want something else. Power. So aside from being friends with other billionaires, they get close to politicians. Not all, but most billionaires will do whatever they can to shape the world in the way they believe it should be. And being friends with politicians is necessary to achieve that goal, because they have the power to pass laws. Why do you think everyone at the World Economic Forum is a billionaire or politician? The WEF's goal is literally to shape the world to their agenda, but they aren't all friends with each other. They form these weird cliques like it's high school. Billionaires and politicians who have the same vision for the world put together in a little circle jerk, pull together their money and power to influence everything in their favor. And there's a couple other ones happening at the same time with different worldviews, where they all compete against each other at the WEF. So billionaires are friends with all billionaires, only some of them.
Subscribe for